when things go terribly wrong. On paternity court,
There was no sex going on. No, read the police report.
Do you remember not using protection?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember that that's how you make a baby?
Yes, ma'am.
No. Let's get this straight. I address what I want to address in the order I want to address.
Mr. Hughes was standing between his mother and the mother of his child, confused about which side to pick, as Grandma was persistent that Radcliffe guy was tapped in the paternity of the child, too white to be his.
White as snow. There's no way that could be my grandchild or my son's baby.
And just by looking at this child, you've determined and said to yourself, I do not believe that's my grandchild.
That can't happen. There's no way.
You heard the bubby, stuck on no way, because according to them, Miss Jackson had all the T qualities that were more than enough to fool her innocent son.
She, as a matter of fact, I call her the 3 T's. Trash, trouble, and trifling. That's what she is. The little boy looks nothing like my son or any member of my family.
Yeesh, Miss McBirth was really non-negotiable about paternity. And the worst part was that she wasn't even trying to hide her hatred toward the defendant and her son. Even the baby mama knew that her child's looks were coming in the way.
Maybe because he is so white?
Because he all the white. He ain't got no black in here. Everything I see got powder puff on it. I don't see no chocolate nowhere, okay?
No, ma'am.
Whatever.
Up next, while Miss Jackson was telling the court how she was committed to the plaintiff's son, she got interrupted by the aunt of her child, saying that baby mama was just a side chick.
Him was a snack cake on the side of his meal. There was nothing more. All she has done is she's been trying to put the baby on us.
Is my son's. That's not gonna happen.
No, I think she's more so obsessed.
Wait, why are they going like trying to pin the baby on us? Not our baby. Isn't this whole thing about the baby and the parents? Why are they steeping and giving verdicts like that?
And I kind of glanced over there and I seen this little white baby. I knew it wasn't mine and I ain't had nothing else to say or do about it since then.
When I first met the girl, she said, okay, I asked her, I said, okay, this is my brother's baby. She said, yes. I said, do you know or do you think? She said, I think. It has her ex-husband's last name.
That's because that's my last name.
Baby Miss Jackson's baby's last name was interesting. Well, in her defense, she still carried her ex-man's name. And since no one was listed as the father on the birth certificate, the baby automatically got her name.
Was he there when you had the baby?
No.
It was another guy, that's why.
There was nobody else there but my mom and my sister.
I'm sick of all these little hookers trying to say my son is the daddy. I'm sick of it. I get babies dropped off here, dropped off there. I'm sick of it.
But
it stopped today.
The sassy grandma and auntie duo further added that the defendant was so fast that the cops often busted her house parties, and it was not hard to imagine what was going on behind her walls.
So why is your neighbors complaining about the sex that goes on in your household?
There was no sex going on. No, read the police report if you want to.
All out of finger pointing and name calling going here, right? But it's easy to blame someone else. And the judge pointed this out rightfully. However, Miss McBirth didn't like it when the judge shoved little truth in her face, and she condemned Lake like this.
I know exactly what type of person he is. He just as trifling as she is.
It seems like your son is kissing the baby. It makes you want to throw up.
It makes me want to throw up because it's a lie.
For your son to be kissing an innocent child?
Because it's not his.
It doesn't matter, really, if he's showing the child love.
It's not his.
What on earth? What is this woman high one going after an innocent kid like that? Regardless of the doubt, no child deserves to be treated like this anyway. Now it was time for the alleged daddy to testify.
It's not my son's, okay? Man. She got men's coming and going in and out of her house.
My father's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed dude, so.
How you know? He just gonna say that because, she gonna freak him after this.
Yeah.
So now, wait a minute, you're accusing your brother of not having enough sense to testify as to his own experience?
He told us it wasn't his baby. He just told us that it wasn't his baby. So how can—
When did he tell you this?
Last night?
In the course of the trial, it was revealed that little Elijah was also calling other men daddy, though the defendant affirmed it. She also testified that the baby boy was doing it out of puzzlement. All right, fair enough. However, for the plaintiffs, it wasn't fair at all.
Hold on, stop talking, because finally Miss McBirth is speaking the real truth of what she's really frustrated about.
I've been through hell. Every time I look around, it's a baby here, it's a baby there, and I'm the one stuck helping, gotta feed them, take care of the clothes, and keep them while the mom and daddy either go to work or run the street. I'm sick of it.
Clearly, Big Mama was more frustrated over having babies here and there, and she ended up taking care of them. The bummer was that she was taking it out on the child. If the result comes opposite from the claims, she handles it well.
Mr. Hughes, you are Elijah's father.
Severe genetic disease and denial from the father had taken a toll on this baby's mama. The woman has left no choice but to opt for a DNA test to get her child the attention and support he needed. Let's hear the plaintiff.
He don't want to take financial responsibility. He hasn't been there. He wasn't there through my pregnancy. When I had the baby, he wasn't there. For his surgery, he wasn't there. I've contacted him. Forget about, nothing.
Mr. Toozy hadn't even seen the child for once. That's strong denial. I mean, you did sleep with her, didn't you? Well, apparently the baby boy was too white to be his. Come on, his mother is white.
Give me the nature of this relationship, Ms. Renfro.
Yeah, we started out friends. Like, we met through mutual friends, and it was sexual, and we talked about being in a relationship. And then when I found out I was pregnant, I took 7 pregnancy tests.
Upon finding out about the child, Mr. Toozy's first reaction was, how is the father? Odd, right? When the judge asked the potential father about it, he testified that there was another man in the picture. Mr. Toozy had seen text messages from him.
Do you remember being in a sexual relationship with Ms. Renfro?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
Do you remember not using protection?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember that that's how you make a baby?
Yes, ma'am.
Further, the defendant claimed that he was sterile, and none of his past relationships produced a baby, however. While the judge was having a hard time buying it, the plaintiff again brought in the health hazard.
My son has a issue with his stomach. He was born with what you call Hirschberger's disease, and it's passed through genetics. And none of my other kids have it. I had sex with him, got pregnant, and my son had to have surgery at 6 days old. He had to have part of his intestine removed.
So, Your Honor, I don't have any type of medical...
While the mommy was crying to find some closure for her child, Mr. Toozy was persistent that none of his family had any genetic disease, and baby mama should stop wasting his time. Go ask the real father.
You had another person sign the birth certificate?
My ex signed the birth certificate. He's still in my child's life. He still takes my son to the doctors.
Is your ex in the child's life because he could potentially be the biological father as well?
No, he loves my son.
Oh, quite a bomb. There was another guy on the certificate bomb who was already busy playing the daddy of the child. However, the baby mama claimed that he was looking out for him and his friend.
That baby don't look nowhere near like me. If the baby was mine, it'd be a little more darker than what it is.
No, really. I mean, you're going to testify about something. How do you know that?
Just because, once again, multiple text messages.
But you still have no proof.
Looks like the judge wasn't liking any of the excuses the clueless father was putting forth, as he had no evidence to prove his point. But what happened next gave the case a new turn, and this happened while witnesses were giving testimony.
You said there was a guy she had slept with during the time?
Well, it was a little before she got pregnant.
The same person that signed the birth certificate.
It wasn't her ex. It was before. I'm pretty sure it was before you got pregnant.
The guy was right all of this time. Miss Renfro was too busy making fools of all of us. Why would you keep off such a piece of important information, woman? Let's see how the judge was processing the revelation.
So you say stuff happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, it sure does?
I
And
got
what
pregnant.
planet do you live on where condoms are 100% effective?
Well, when it's like...
I have a lot of people that need to move there.
After this, judge moved on to the defendant, asking if his stance and paternity had changed. The irony was that his doubt had gotten more robust since his initial testimony, while Miss Renfro's claimed that her other entanglement was nothing but hit and run.
That don't prove nothing because of who I slept with. That don't mean nothing. I used a condom, so there is no other option. It's you.
It does matter, though. I just don't want you to convince yourself of this lie. Like, you understand that who you slept with.
Did you notice that there was a sudden shift in Miss Renfro's? The moment she admitted to being involved with another guy, her feel bad for me attitude was long gone. Furthermore, baby daddy claimed mama was a gold digger who called back at him for being a deadbeat.
What do you think her MO is, Mr. Toozy?
She's just trying to get money out of me. That's it.
Your Honor, I've never
you
asked
believe
him for
it's
$1.
because you have 2 jobs and she knows that you were able to take care of the baby.
Right.
But he's already taken care of. Me and my ex take care of him.
And the ex is on the birth certificate, so he's the one gonna owe child support. I hope he knows that.
He knows.
Me too.
It looked like both sides were more focused on trying to prove each other wrong, and the child and his medical condition were something secondary. And when that happened, Judge Luran called for a concluding envelope.
Are not the father.
Oops.
Told you!
That is fine. I'm okay with that.
Do you know who is?
Yes, ma'am. If he wasn't the father, then yes, ma'am, I know.
Hold on. No.
You asked, I answered.
Mr. Johnson, playing full-blown daddy just recently, found out about the other possibility and bumped over being duped. Baby mama wasn't sure herself, but as the child grew, things became clear.
She was telling me
You know, one minute that, oh yeah, you're the father. Then the next minute she telling me, a couple years down the line, that I'm not the father, you know? I'm kind of confused here. I don't know what to think. Go ahead.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not liking the way they started, however. Miss Owens told the court how she was stuck in paternity dilemmas, as one of the potential fathers had died, while the other wasn't her best pick.
Believe that he was the father. But when my son was around 6 months, when we was together, living together, we both noticed that he started looking like the other dude, which is Dwayne.
The more the kid grew up, the more he turned to look like the other guy. Then what next? Well, it was revealed that the sassy mama had Mr. Johnson rushing to the hospital and signing the birth certificate even though she had doubts.
Did you believe at that time?
Yes.
He was the father?
Yes, I knew.
So you slept with somebody else,
Yeah.
but you just weren't considering it. You put your focus on him.
Thank you.
Wow, I love when a judge puts the truth like that. So while judging one with discovering what had really gotten down, both participants were more focused on bashing each other like this.
Don't believe her, man. On
No,
some
he
real.
didn't come
I'm
until
a
I died,
woman,
lady.
first of all.
Changing diapers, feeding them,
The
while
diapers
she was
that
laying on her
hard.
fat ass, you know? That's what I'm talking about.
Wait. Now you have to watch your language.
Oh, the judge does not like people who act like that. And I don't blame her because she is ruining a courtroom, not a circus, which the judge made quite clear as she had realized that those goofy folks had no idea what was at stake.
Potentially the child's father is deceased. And this court cares about Dakari.
I do too. You know, when I look at that picture, I see love. You know, I was there with him since he was born. You know, I really care about him. I really want him to be my son.
Dakari was in trouble because his parents were too busy playing with the children themselves. Anyway, as the judge asked the baby's mom why he eliminated the other guy from the potential list, her answer led to another rubble in the courtroom.
You admit that you had sexual relations with Mr. Tyson.
Yeah, I never.
And when you found out he passed away, had you buried it back in your mind so far that he could potentially be your child's father, you just again didn't admit it to
Your
yourself?
Honor.
Or did you say to yourself, oh my goodness, this could be my child's father that passed away?
Every question, every inquiry seemed like vain. It was a bunch of loose ends and nothing concrete, missing vital information going back and forth. Judge Lake was just stuck in a mess.
How could that not be in your mind?
Little
you had
one,
sex
can you,
with him.
little one, can you
had
calm down?
sex with him.
Pipe down, little one.
You had sex with him. How could that not be in your mind?
Sit, doggy.
How could that not be?
Whoa, there, little fella doggy, what? Are these people out of their minds? All know squabbling like that would make anyone go sore, and Judge Lake was no exception.
How absolutely ridiculous you look right now. I don't want him up here acting like you or you. I don't want him acting like either one of you. You are a terrible example to your child. Clowning in here. And a child sitting up here and don't know if his father's here or in a grave. You clowning. And I will not have it. Keep your mouth shut until we get to these results. I will not have it.
Oh boy, I have seen this man, these people. All this jiggery-pokery has come to an end for good because there was a child who deserved to know the truth. Let's get to that.
Mr. Johnson, you are not his father.
There it is. There it is. Right there.
When it comes to Dakari Johnson, based on the testing results, the probability of relatedness is 99.99%.
Miss Hanger's messy fiasco caused her already, paying child support to baby daddy. Believed that he was duped into paternity by default, and now was looking for a way out.
A medical professional at all giving me the opinion that you were pregnant would have been good too. But I mean, like.
And so wait a minute. Just let me understand this situation. I don't know how you two even ever had sex.
While the eccentric young man was in a legal brawl right at the beginning of the trial, the plaintiff had to make it clear that even though he was listed as the father, the defendant was doing nothing for her daughter.
He's a spoiled, rotten, arrogant brat, point blank. He won't even admit that she even looks like him when she's identical to him.
Just because you frame her up there and put her next to my family, that's not actually a DNA test.
So let's get to being named father by default. Mr. Babbitt was served paternity trial papers. Being the cocksure that he was, the defendant signed them without reading the anthem, and now we're standing in court blaming baby mama for it.
No, you look confused, period. And you look like you got a smart mouth. And you think you know too much, but what you should have known was to bring your butt to court. You can get smart with me if you want to. You're gonna lose every day of this week.
Oh, he just rubbed the Judge Lake the wrong way. Standing, acting all obnoxious, not taking responsibility, and running a smart mouth while there is a baby is a question. Does not work on Lake's watch.
But every time I ask you a question, you have something smart to say. Do not question what I think you look like. I'm here to ask questions. You're here to answer them. I'm here to give you the answers to the questions you have as it relates to paternity. Now, whether you have animosity towards Miss Hanger or you feel like someone tried to railroad you, that's your personal feelings, but what you're not gonna do is take them out on me.
Finally, the man is sorry about anything. At least there is that progress anyway. It turns out that his real doubt stemmed from the plaintiff being sexually involved with her roommate, but baby mama denied all such acquisitions.
I had not slept with anybody else prior to him for a year with my ex-boyfriend.
Well, you were sneaking out in the middle of the night doing something.
I was not sneaking out anywhere. The only time I get out of bed is to go to the bathroom.
Contradiction and denial both often join together to give rise to paternity doubt. However, Mr. Babbitt was there for the first doctor's appointment, but when the reports didn't give a clear hint, the guy just vanished into thin air, leaving the plaintiff alone.
And he also tried to tell me that I stole a baby because I never proved to him that I was pregnant.
No, what I thought could have happened is, as crazy as you are, you might have been up there doing something in the hospital, not pregnancy related.
I am in a hospital bed. I had a cesarean. I had an emergency C-section the second time I got induced.
Mr. Big Mouth, that there is no way to treat a woman far alone. Your potential baby mama. FYI. The guy tried paying excited dad for a bit, but it was too much for him.
It's the first time I had seen him since he took off. He laid his head on my stomach. He asked me what I was naming her and stood in the middle of her nursery.
Yeah, I walked in
and
there.
And that makes you emotional. Why are you feeling emotional, Miss Hanger? What are you feeling?
That my daughter has to go without her father because I went through that.
I feel really bad for the mommy if the DNA result comes saying he is the father. She'll have to put up with that thing across the podium. And guess what? His father was testifying against him. Why am I not shocked?
You're Mr. Babbitt, Royce's father.
Correct.
And you're standing with the plaintiff.
Because Chloe is our granddaughter.
You do believe that?
That's evident. Yes, I truly believe that.
All right. Well, the court issued lie detector tests. Mr. Babbitt requested it, and we did so, and we have those results.
This Cam can do nothing but blame others to get his way. Arguments for the sake of arguments. Anyhow, it was about time for both results to be read.
Mr. Royce Babbitt, you are her father.
I guess.
All I want is an apology for her.
I don't owe you any apology.
You owe me an apology for denying her.
Come on, dude.
I've told you from day one.
Yeah, it's my child now, but it wasn't then. I mean, I can
It was
been your
then.
child since conception.
In this paternity court episode, Mr. Lang brought his wife to the dock for the alleged infidelity done with his best friend from the sandbox. But the mommy refuses to play along with such nasty accusations. It looks like both parties are at polar ends. Good cause it calls for drama. Here is how the session went.
Miss Brown slept with my son's best friend from the sandbox best friend.
Oh, really? Is that true?
No,
Ms.
that's
Brown?
not true, Your Honor. I've never slept with Mr. Dixon. Mr. Dixon and Mr. Lang have been not friends for a while. They've been going at it, trying to fight each other, trying to find each other.
Okay, so you're saying her assertion isn't true?
But the twist is that she wasn't the only one to blame. It could have been that another potential father was using baby mama to pull up revenge on Mr. Lang, because they were best friends. And wait for it, newsflash, Mr. Lang had cheated with 50 to 100 girls, so now you know that daddy isn't innocent either.
Mr. Lang, when you found out she was pregnant, you were happy about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any doubts at that time?
Not at that time, no, I didn't.
And what made you start to have doubts?
When Mr. Dixon got in the picture, and he had told me to stop messing with her because the baby she's pregnant with could possibly be hit.
Well, Mr. Dixon sure knows when to make a phone call. Adding more to this mix, the grandma also jumped with her cho-cho of, "It's not your baby," although Miss Brown claimed to be sleeping with only Mr. Lang. Her man was not ready to trust baby mama's words.
And I am very sure that this is his baby, and we spoke about it. I haven't slept together with no one else. And exactly that time is around the exact time I got pregnant.
You say that's your window of conception?
Yes, that was in middle August, into August.
And so now the baby's born?
After this, the defendant pointed out the real reason behind the denial. Well, it was the meddling mother of the potential biological father and her unwanted interference in the relationship. The baby mama even had proof of it. Was that even necessary?
Every time me and him would have an argument about him cheating, his mother would get into it, either try to argue with me or try to lie for her son, which she can, I don't doubt, but don't be in my face telling me a lie. Just go away with your son.
Are you on Facebook with the kids arguing?
No.
Yes.
Anyways, to end this drama without getting sidetracked from the main theme, it was clear that a child was stuck in the midst of grown-up drama, which was unfair. But hey, this is where the paternity court steps in. Let's see what the envelope holds.
When it comes to 1-year-old baby Janelle, Mr. Lang, you are not the father.
Are you? Serious? I swear that's a lie.
The DNA doesn't lie.
Oh boy, I bet you didn't see that coming. Well, that walk from the dock to the waiting room has been the longest road in this woman's life. However, we also felt bad for the guy who so far was busy playing daddy.
You're gonna have to come back with another name.
I can't. No.
I'm gonna have you guys come back in so we can finish it. We just want to finish it. Come on back in.
Mr. Hodges was stuck with the same question: if he was or was not the father of the defendant's 1-month-old daughter. And if you are thinking, why was there doubt in the first place? It turns out that Mr. Plaintiff had caught his girlfriend cheating, broken over such a revelation. He chose to begin like this.
Whenever we first got together, she said that she would never hurt me or cheat on me. She would be truthful.
Miss Willard, you kept lying and you kept cheating?
No, I did not.
I want to understand the nature of this relationship. Where did you meet?
I met him through a family member of his.
And then she cried on your shoulder. And then you and she got together.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is a major no right from the start, because the baby daddy testified that his woman was fast, as right into days of meeting up if they got all cozy up. And we know, man, they might run after with these flags, but they don't parade around with them. No, we are not aggregating. And the defendant had been cooking this at her place.
Because I knew that she had been cheating on him. He had caught her with another guy that she said was a friend, but yet he was hidden in her house when my son got there.
Hiding in the house where?
In her mother's bedroom.
The other guy in your bedroom when Mr. Hodges came?
They had broke up.
So why you have to hide anybody?
Because she didn't want him to know. She didn't want to hurt him. She didn't want to start no trouble because Hardy's got a temper.
Well, we was engaged.
It was my understanding they had broke up.
So were you engaged or were you broken up?
We was engaged.
Her mother also has her hands in the dirt. At this moment, the court appeared to be persuaded that Mr. Hodges was correct. But wait, even though the alleged knew that Miss Willard was loose as a goose, Mr. Hodges got engaged to the defendant.
And Your Honor, she was already married when they got engaged that my son didn't know about.
So you were engaged to Mr. Hodges, but you were married to another guy at the time?
Yes, Your Honor.
How did you find him?
It's the guy that was with her when Lillian was born at the hospital.
An endless flow of tricky moves. What's going on? However, the young baby daddy's mother jumped in for the rescue and told her that the defendant double-timed her son. The potential bubby even had brought text evidence to prove her testimony, but the other grandma wasn't ready to back down either. Watch how she gets down.
She told me she was pregnant.
You're speaking about when your daughter was pregnant with Lillian?
Yes, that's when she
Is Lillian your only child?
No, Your Honor. She hid that from us too, at first.
Back it up. Back it up.
Suppose there wasn't enough lying already. The defendant has also hidden a baby at this point that she had before meeting Mr. Hodges. Despite all this, the climax arrives when the defendant also conceals the birth of a 1-month-old daughter from Mr. Hodges. What a train wreck.
I was with the other guy, and I had been living with him for a while, and I thought I was going to keep living with him, but we broke up.
And this is the other man that was at the hospital when Lillian was born?
Yes, Your Honor.
Regardless of every hard reality, Mr. Hodges is faced by the defendant when asked how he feels after also developing a bond with the beautiful baby. He sounded shattered, with enough proof on the table. There is no stopping this DNA conclusion.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hodges, you are the father.
Infertility and infidelity both had convinced Mr. Ball that he was not the father of Miss Cox's 3-year-old daughter. With multiple men on the paternity list, the plaintiff refuses to play along with the mind games of his ex-girlfriend. Sounds messy, right?
All right, now Mr. Ball,
Yes.
how did you first hear that Miss Cox was sleeping with multiple men?
Well, during the time of my incarceration, Your Honor, I'm asking him, hey, what's going on, man? I'm hearing things. I'm hearing that, you've been talking to my girl or whatever.
That's not true.
And she's sitting in the car, the same car.
Okay, so the girlfriend's best friend's claims caused a stir in the allegations. This was refuted by the defendant, who disclosed that Mr. Ball was certain about her loyalties before meeting the other man at the grocery store.
While he was away, were you in a relationship with another man?
We was in a physical relationship.
It was a sexual relationship.
And he knew about this.
Did you tell Mr. Ball?
No.
Yes, I did. I wrote him a letter and I told him everything that was going on.
So why did he have to hear from your best friend?
She beat me to the punch because
Beat you to the punch?
my best friend at the time is his other child's mother.
Oh!
Whoa, what just happened? He was tipped by the mother of his child, who happens to be the best friend we all have heard about. Okay, now I'm also thinking that the dad got played, but the plaintiff, because there was some obscene evidence in the situation.
Her, and not only just that guy, another guy.
No,
and
all the same
another guy.
guy.
And I
It was all
asked
the
her
same
about
guy.
it.
So let me ask you this. What was in the pictures?
Her, arms around guys, kissing around guys.
No, it
and
wasn't
I'm
no
asking
pictures
her.
like that. Pictures were not even uploaded to the computer by me. They were uploaded by his child, the mother of his other child.
Your best friend.
Right. She was sleeping with him and his cousin at the same time.
It is now clear that Mr. Ball was cheating with the defendant's best friend, something we all suspected. It turns out that the suspect was a deadbeat who was cheating on the baby mama right under her roof and was now trying to play the victim under the situation.
Because he was too lazy to get up off of his butt to go and get a job.
So when I
because
first came home, I wasn't looking for a job. When I was with her, when we were looking for a job, she was sitting right outside the place texting a dude.
One place.
Sitting
one
down there
time he
texting
filled
him.
out an application.
And
We do know you were intimate after he got home. That's why we're here today, because at some point you find out you're pregnant.
Right.
Yeah, he slept with me unprotected the day that he came home, and during intercourse told me he wanted me to get pregnant.
Well, ain't that overwhelming? Up next, when the judge asked Mr. Ball to participate in the birth of the daughter, the defendant responded yes. According to Miss Cox, he refused to sign the birth certificate and even denied a DNA test. It looks like Mr. Lazy Bones was genuinely avoiding the responsibility.
When your daughter, Gabby, was born, was Mr. Ball there?
Yes,
Did
ma'am, he
participate?
was. And he drove me to the hospital. He was there the whole 3 days I was in the hospital. He drove me home from the hospital, and we stayed with him. And when it came down to signing the birth certificate, he wouldn't.
There.
I offered him a DNA test in the hospital.
wanna
He
make
didn't
it
want
hard
it.
for this woman,
He
but
didn't
yeah,
want it.
I'm
I've
there.
offered him DNA. I
I'm
made
there.
appointments for DNA tests and have been on my way to pick this man
But
up.
Another fact was revealed that while Mr. Balls was engaged to another woman, he was still fooling with the mommy at the podium. Wow, that's a good way to not have a baby with someone you don't trust. Oh, and the fiancé part. Good luck explaining this to her man.
It's never about my child. It's always about me because we were just sleeping together a week ago.
A week ago?
A week ago.
No.
Might have been like 9 days ago.
No.
A week and a half ago.
It was not 9 days ago, Your Honor, but
Yes, it
yes,
was,
we
Your
were
Honor.
intimate. We were intimate.
Just a few weeks ago, about a month and a half ago, I helped him with money for child support for his other daughter, asking me for the money and telling me that he would pay me back.
That is a harsh disgrace on Mr. Ball. It appears as though he was staying away from liability and was taking advantage of Miss Cox, no matter how much you tried to manipulate your way out. Truth always finds its way.
It has been determined that Mr. Ball are her father.
Miss Whitman was in front of Judge Lake with her no-shame attitude, claiming that there was no way that the defendant could be the father of her 1-month-old daughter. With both men warped around this mommy's fingers, the trial proceeded like this.
Me and Mr. Mitchell met at a bus station when I was coming from Chicago to Arkansas. We kind of like kicked it off quick and became girlfriend and boyfriend. And 2 months into relationship, I met Mr. Anderson. And we were pretty much like friends. And because I thought Mr. Mitchell was cheating.
And then you start giving Mr. Anderson a little bit more attention.
Yes, Your Honor, that's right.
Continue.
Well, that is just bizarre. Cheating on someone you love based on speculations? It was clear that Miss Whitman needed to reconsider her life choice, because she was now stuck in one of the messiest paternity confusion.
Look, this is a small town. It's a small town. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows who drives what. This particular person I know stayed with her a week.
And you know who this guy is?
I know him. He's one of my cousins.
Oh, so one of your cousins stayed up there with her for a week?
Yes.
Did your cousin tell you that he slept with her?
Yeah, we done gave each other daps and everything.
Well, the woman had the same jingle playing, bluntly refusing everything. So well, let's skip to the pregnancy test part. Turns out that although she sent pictures of her pregnancy test to both Mr. Mapson and Mr. Anderson, just in 2 weeks, she changed her mind.
Did you have any idea that she was sleeping with other people?
I kind of had suspicions because of our relationship. It was a long distance relationship.
Did you show up to the hospital and participate in the birth with her?
At first, my intentions was to show up at the hospital, to involve myself in that situation, then find out that it's not mine.
So you didn't go to any doctor's appointments with her?
Nope. Sometimes I call and promise her that I would come, but...
With both fathers in denial, someone had to take responsibility for the child. Anyway, Mr. Anderson was not ready to play along at all, as the existence of the child was running his current relationship. Still, no one was ready to pay for the test.
I couldn't get a hold of Mr. Anderson because he blocked all communications, Facebook, telephone.
The reason I blocked her off because of the stuff she was doing on Facebook. She was, just out there just saying, this is my baby daddy, knowing she been with other
I've never put on Facebook that you're my baby daddy.
So since you had such real doubts, did you pursue a DNA test at all? Did you
Yes.
say, I want to have a paternity test?
Yes, I did.
What happened?
And we argued about that.
What's the argument? She admitted she didn't know.
He wanted me to pay half of DNA test, but Mr. Mapson also wanted me to pay half. I wasn't finna pay half for both people.
Wait a minute. She done gone half on the baby and won't go half on the DNA test.
That is toxic. Compromise on her daughter's right to know who the father is. Which mother does that? Upon the judge asking Miss Whitman if there is any chance that someone else might be the father, she further escalates the doubts like this.
Besides these two, could be the father of your child.
That's right, Your Honor.
There's one.
No, it's not.
You agree with Mr. Anderson, Mr. Mapson? You believe there's a third?
All I know was about Mr. Anderson.
I was texting people. People might have come over to my house to chill, but I was not having sex with anyone else. No guy stayed there a week. I don't know what guy he's talking about. It's no one
Do you
else.
see that same smirk, Mr. Mapson?
Look at you.
Every time we mention this car in this week,
You heard her. There was another person who stayed over for a week. See, we told you no shame for her game. This made the judge more suspicious, and she finally had to pull the trigger by calling in for the result, which went like this.
it has been determined by this court, Mr. Anderson, you are not her father.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I knew it.
We have another result. It has been determined by this court, Mr. Mapson, you are her father.
Animosity can make people do all sorts of things. Yeah, believe it or not, it can even make mothers deny the alleged right to paternity when such a spleen. Set foot, no matter how many miles you go or how much you beg. It's hard to change mommy's mind.
Why is Ms. Miller saying you're not Zaylee's father?
Your Honor, I believe it's just out of pure hatred. She just doesn't want me to have visitation. I drive 160 miles every other weekend just to pick up my daughter and drop her off.
Hate? Is that a really strong word? Would you prefer dislike? Well, no, Mr. Rasmussen. The fact he chose someone else over his ex-fiancée has created a rift between them, and now she wouldn't let her get close to their daughter. Let's see if the Tigerton woman agrees with these claims.
Tell me what you believe to be true in this situation.
Yes, I was very mad at him for being a cheater. He cheated on me through pretty much our whole relationship.
You don't want him to have the visitation, is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why is that?
Because I believe that the only reason why he wants the visitation is to claim her on his taxes.
Wait, he is doing his taxes. Does that make sense? It did to Mommy, I guess. Still, Judge Lake had a hard time buying it. The money he would get would go into the expenses of seeing his child. Plus, he was already paying child support.
What is this really about for you? Why is it you don't want him involved in this child's life?
Because I still believe that he is not hers.
Okay, and listen, that's what we're here for. I want to get down to the bottom of the truth.
Yeah.
Miss Miller, how she was sure that Mr. Rasmussen was not the biological father because he was playing a full-blown dad. Why would a man do such things if there was an ounce of doubt? The baby mama responded like this.
He was in Vegas, and at that time in March, I wasn't even with him. I was with somebody else because he broke up with me because he cheated on me.
You heard the woman she swindled out of spite, which added another potential father to the mix. Then why was the defendant so steady on being a father? Turns out that he found out recently in the couple's court while fighting over the custody of the baby girl.
People we were talking to with the family court commissioner did the math, and it turns out that would be a 10-month pregnancy, and that don't make sense to me.
Because it was so long ago, I was confused about the dates.
The other father part popped up when they broke up, which raised more suspicion. In addition to that, he was listed as the father on the birth certificate, and the defendant even told them how excited was to see her daughter that he beat his girlfriend to the hospital.
After she was born, he was gone. He ran out of the room. I didn't see him for 20 minutes after that.
I admit I was on my computer, but that was far from it. I had to find a way to calm myself because I was so excited.
Do you dispute, Ms. Miller, that he was excited?
I really didn't see much excitement.
You didn't?
No. I had to wait for my aunt.
What is this woman's problem anyway? It's like she is living in her bubble, so the judge straight up asked her that. Turns out that after getting cheated on multiple times, she just wanted the man out of her life.
All of this is happening, and this man is continuing to step up to the plate, but you know deep down there's another possible father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why wait so long to tell him?
Exactly my point. Why so long to tell him? Mrs. Miller defended herself with the same excuse. Oh, more she grew up. Her looks changed. My doubts became clear. Oh, if you had doubts in the first place, why not talk about them?
It's exactly like I did when I was 3 years old. I have a picture of me when I was 3 and a picture of her from just the other day.
Let me see that. Do you see it, Ms. Miller?
Mm-mm.
You don't?
I don't.
you feel like Zaylee looks like the other gentleman you were intimate with.
Suspicion or not, it was evident that Daddy was at the podium and was not ready to give up on his daughter that easily. He wanted the DNA result, so all of the drama would finally be over. But what if it proved otherwise? Will he be able to bear that bombshell?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Rasmussen, you are not the father. Miss Miller.
Be respectful.
Sorry.
Miss Miller.
I'm sorry.
That's a lot of nerve considering the alternative is somebody that don't want nothing to do with you or your child.
I'm sorry.
That's a lot of nerve.
Cheating on your boyfriend for whom you left your husband. Miss Jackson has been hustling a lot, and now both of her children are in doubt circles. Because even though Mr. Lovett loved the kids, he couldn't shake off the infidelity part.
I have doubts. And my oldest son looks different from him. He's darker, he's chubby, got
He has a
both
different
legs.
mother.
Another son by another woman.
Yeah.
He has a different mother.
Right.
Of course he's gonna look different.
But the stuff that you been doing, it brings the doubts on it.
Okay.
Like, it ain't like you been good.
You're right.
Of course, you been pregnant.
And you ain't eating.
Well, the constant infidelity wasn't only on the defendant's part. She even imposed that the man at the podium was just making things up because he couldn't commit to one woman. The woman had all surveillance set up on the Orlando man.
Every time I delete it, I wake up in the morning sometimes,
And when you get a new
I see a
phone-
little bird on the top of my phone. Like, what this bird doing?
He's been proven to be not loyal. And buying him, me loving him so much and him loving me so much, and us wanting to be together.
Trust issues are running through this relationship. Next, the plaintiff pointed out that Miss Jackson had too many kids, which show her dealing with different men. And he can never believe a woman like that, which was hard for the baby mama to digest.
Then that same guy ended up sending naked pictures to my phone.
Because you asked him
No,
for
matter
it.
of fact, it was
He
her phone.
guys.
It was her phone.
He
I was
got in my
talking like
Facebook.
I was talking
He
like I
got
was
in
her.
my
I know that makes no sense. Let me make it simple for you. Miss Jackson lied about a random guy at her house being her cousin. That man used to pop out at her house uninvited, and this added soreness in the relationship.
Leads you to doubt
Yes.
Corey Jr.
Because he's seen
is
another
your
man
child.
cutting my grass.
Was there anything else going on? You can't get pregnant by somebody cutting the grass.
Did Mr. Lovett have any other proof apart from that? Well, there was one when they had broken up, and right after that time, the defendant got pregnant. Quite striking, right? That is exactly how the plaintiff felt too.
You feel like you all broke up and you all were at odds. She started going out with somebody else. Next thing you know, she's pregnant, but then trying to get back with you because you feel like she wanted you to take care of this baby and all of her other children.
That too, and also she's still married, so I wasn't
And
taking
my
it
divorce
serious
was
in the
pending
beginning.
until I got
So I'm
pregnant.
still not
so now we
taking
got
it serious.
kids in between the marriage. So now we have to take an extra step, get parenting.
Yeah, we must not forget that she was still married to someone else. So no matter how many boyfriends come and go, her husband will have to take care of all the children, which isn't fair. Listen to the hubby himself.
You are Corey Jr.'s biological father?
No, Your Honor. For them two to get themselves together so I could finally have my divorce.
It's holding off both of our life. We both can't get divorced. He has another woman, other kids in between the marriage. I have another man and kids between the marriage. We can't get a divorce because this boy won't sign an affidavit stating that those are his
Y'all should have
kids.
been got a divorce before you met me.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
Before your other baby daddy.
When I met you, it was pending.
They most certainly were in legal limbo. Though the baby mama knew how serious it was, she refused to take all the blame because she was too pretty to be anyone's doormat. Well, no one should be taken as slack. Still running between men like that is not a healthy obsession.
Mr. Lovett is Corey Jr.'s father.
Oh,
that you're convinced of.
Oh, yeah.
She can't stay alone, and it shows whether I'm in her life or not. She gonna keep it
It
moving.
ain't my fault I look good.
Yeah, you look good.
You do have trouble being alone.
Yeah,
and
I
that's
do.
not because you're beautiful.
Right.
That's not how you look on the outside. That's how you feel on the inside, babe.
With that mess being addressed, let's not forget that it was kids who were being neglected and taken for granted. That's why there was one way left to know where their future will land. Time to get that envelope.
We have two results today. In the case of Lovett versus Jackson, when it comes to 1-year-old Corey Lovett Jr. Mr. Coleman, you are not his father. Mr. Lovett, you are not his father.
Are you sure? How is that possible?
Do you know who his father is? In the case of Lovett versus Jackson, when it comes to 2-month-old Ariel Lovett, it has been determined by...
It seems so unreal. Oh my God.
Mr. Lovett, you are Ariel's father.
Sleep in joy can make you weep in disgust. As you can see in this case, Mr. Boston dragged the defendant into court, saying that he has undeniable proof that there is no possibility of him being the father of this trifling woman. Meanwhile, Ms. Murphy asserted that she is tired of the plaintiff's lies and wanted to stop by conducting a DNA test, moving to the plaintiffs to see to whom the DNA diagnostic will favor.
You say you have undeniable proof that there is no way possible that you are the biological father of the defendant's 10-month-old son, Tristan. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Murphy, you say that you are tired of Mr. Boston's lies.
So the testimony started with Mr. Boston's evidence, and the evidence was invisible. No one could see that because his dynamic words were the solid, undeniable proof. I think something hit his mind. His words do not seem trustworthy as he is just clearly bluffing.
So how long were you in this sexual relationship?
4 months. He was at my house every night, spending the night sleeping in the same bed.
You say you used protection the whole time.
Lying. He's lying.
So why would you lead in this courtroom with a statement that says you gotta have sex to make a baby? Yes, you do, and you did.
Yes, I did, Your Honor. I apologize about that.
Oh my, who on earth is this desperate to be intimate with the girl? Man, you were sleeping with her for 4 months and still did not know her real name? What he is testifying is just crazy, or he is naive.
He rubbed my belly and everything. He was smiling and everything.
She was pregnant. That family member came in the house and told me, well, you know somebody named Teresa? At the time, I didn't know her government name.
You've been sleeping with her for 4 months and don't know her name.
Not even her government name.
You sound about crazy, Mr. Boston.
Bookie.
Thank you.
On the procession of trial, it slipped out that Ms. Murphy was busy with another, but she stated the facts of her being certain regarding the baby's parentage. She told the court that when the baby was conceived, she was with Mr. Boston only.
So why are you convinced that Mr. Boston is the father?
Because for the period of time when I found out I was pregnant, the time adds up. He was the only man that I was.
No, I was not.
The court has identified and located another man who says he was intimate with you as well.
To clear up the doubts, Judge Lake summoned Mr. Gregory into the court. He contended that they were sexual buddies, and upon getting news about baby mama's pregnancy, he blew everything off and blocked her instantly. I must say this man has got nerves. After his false actions, he is narrating them proudly.
We've determined that you, in fact, have had a relationship with Ms. Murphy.
A sexual relationship.
Take me back to the day Ms. Murphy told you she was pregnant.
She texted me on Facebook and told me she was pregnant.
You got a message on Facebook that she was potentially pregnant by you and you deleted her? You sleeping with him and you were sleeping with him. You don't know which one is your child's father. Were you sleeping with somebody else too?
No.
Anybody?
No.
Think about it.
However, the witness rolled up to the podium and testified in her best friend's favor. She asserted that she also knows that Mr. Boston is the father, and he is just making up stories to avoid the situation.
Who do you believe is Tristan's biological father?
Mr. Boston.
Was Mr. Boston the only man coming over there within that 4-month period?
When she was saying him, he was the only man. I say like 2 weeks. That's when she started messing with Mr. Gregory.
Okay, that lends credibility to your testimony. Then you say she started talking to Mr. Gregory.
Right.
Things were out of control as the baby mama didn't even know who the baby daddy was. Their non-serious back-and-forth statements made Judge Lake ferocious, and she gave the reality check to these adults like this.
That's your baby. You're responsible if you know you slept with more than one man during the window of conception. It is your responsibility to figure out who that child's father is. And men, you're not off the hook. So don't think just because I am empowering this young woman to understand what she should have done, you all are not off the hook. So before you get so disgusted, you be disgusted with yourselves.
I'm not disgusted at all.
You got a job?
Yeah, I think I got like 2 jobs.
Excellent. I hope this child is yours.
Their ongoing discussion further fuels the whole situation instead of helping to resolve the case. But it was quite evident that they needed to know the results for the baby, and his biological father needed to be a man up. So let's go, get those results, and see what envelope is hiding in it.
Mr. Gregory, you are not his father. The next results read as follows. Mr. Boston, you are not the father. Ms. Murphy, do you know who this child's father is? Thank you for the truth.
It must hurt when you plan something good for someone and they stab you back. In this case, Mr. Wilson wanted to prove to the defendant that he was not the father of her child, while Miss Dean believed otherwise and said he turned his back on her and the baby, and now his denial is hurting them. So to get to the closure, we need a DNA test.
Miss Dean's 17-month-old daughter, Jakaya, is not your biological child. You say you moved her into your home, laid out the red carpet, only to find out she was rolling around with other men in your home.
The plaintiff said the reason he didn't accept the baby yet and wanted the results. Miss Dean said he was lying and shocked the court with their foolish plans that worked out very badly in the end.
Your Honor, I don't believe I'm the father because I have been fooled by multiple females in the past.
Mr. Wilson, you saying you've been fooled once, you've been fooled twice, but you're not gonna be fooled again.
Correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Wilson explained his relationship with the defendant and told the plans they had regarding the baby. By far, the story seems fine until the plaintiff commented about the resemblance of the baby. Yeah, an X popped up.
I had previous relationships with her in the past. I was single, she was single. We decided to meet up. And we met up and we actually planned the baby. The baby was just not a coincidence. I see the baby, but I don't see me in the baby. I see the X in the baby. She posted a Facebook picture of the baby with him, and it looks like his baby.
The plaintiff said that he was unsure about the paternity because of the inconsistent lies of Miss Dean. But the defendant denied the accusations and told the events of pregnancy. Well, we are not sure who is a better liar.
Or she used, yeah.
Okay.
It was not consistent as her storytelling.
Why
as
wasn't
the
it?
truth kept coming about, the lies kept adding up to it.
All right,
He
so
is lying,
take me
Your Honor,
to
you
finding
in your face.
Wait, hold on. Miss Dean, when you found out you were pregnant, take me to that day.
I had my period in February.
The judge asked for Mr. Wilson's involvement during the pregnancy and childbirth, and he thoroughly admitted all of his responsibilities. So far, things look good, but where did it go wrong?
So you were there at the birth?
Yes, I was.
Did you go to doctor's appointments for the baby
She
too?
never followed through with it.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, I did.
So you accepted this baby as your own?
I did.
And at that time when you did that, you believed you were the father?
Didn't have no doubts.
The plaintiff explained the time when things started taking the wrong direction. After the accusations against the defendant, she called him a liar and started crying about her sole responsibilities for the kid. Girl, how can a man support you if you cheat on him?
Well, we're trying to build a relationship while she's pregnant. And in the mix of us building a relationship, she's getting bigger. She's whispering, I hear echoes. She's always in a different room of the apartment. And I'm like, why you never around the kids? Why? She said, I can't talk now because my ex is here.
And he knew exactly what was going on. And with that other guy, he just don't want to take responsibility and be a man and stand up.
Upon being asked about the paternity issue, Mr. Wilson said he didn't have any doubts until he confronted her ex and embarrassed himself by finding out the dirty ways she was playing with him. Well, now she is in trouble.
When I ran into him at the bus stop, I said, this is coincidence. Now I can man up and ask him face to face. What's the story in his end? If it add up to what she's telling me, then I have no doubts. But he said the complete opposite of what she's given me.
The judge then asked the plaintiff why he signed the birth certificate. He shocked the court by sharing Miss Dean's weird behavior when he had the baby to himself for a few days. Now this woman appears crazy.
When the baby was born, it was so light and bright. I was like, he's so dark, she's dark. It's no way he's the father. She said, bring me back my baby. It's not your baby, it's his baby. Ah!
The defendant fought back his claims and shared the reason behind her cold words to Mr. Wilson. In a minute, she threw a heartless accusation at him.
He had the baby trying to take the baby so he can be with someone else. He used me, baby.
She watched too many Lifetime, Your
No,
Honor.
he lied, took the baby, tried to move away. He had the baby in his care. He never took her because I gave her to him.
Now Mr. Wilson's witness stepped in and shared her stance on this confusing story and also recalled Miss Dean's crazy behavior at her home. The defendant's double-sidedness is clearly shown here.
Why are you getting yourself in a situation? We had just lost our father, so he grieved into this baby. She came to my home, looking for my brother with her family, throwing things at my window. Bring me back my baby. That's not his
my baby and wouldn't tell me where y'all was at.
She said, I heard her family said, that's not his baby. Where that baby at? Where that baby at? That's not his baby. How he gonna take a baby that's not his?
The defendant confronted the accusations and repeatedly said that they were lying. Well, now only a DNA test can give the closure they want.
Mr. Wilson, you are not the father.
I apologize for taking you through this, but I am going to find out who her father is, and I am going to.
You gotta find out?
No, when I say find out,
You gotta find
I'm
out?
going to bring him on this courtroom like I did you at.
Oh, good luck.
Miss Eubanks arrived in the court to seek Judge Lake's help to save her relationship. She claimed that Mr. Wilker fathered her baby Mozzie, and once paternity was proved, that baby mama expected a ring to pop up. Moving on to plaintiffs.
Mr. Wilkes, you claim that when Mozzie was born, you hoped for a sign that he was your son. But no matter how hard you looked, it just wasn't there. You say negative paternity results will end your relationship. Is that correct?
The end of everything, Your Honor.
So the alleged daddy stated that his doubts regarding the potential child had worn out on him, and now he wanted to know for certain if he fathered the baby or not. Further, he said that this dispute had troubled and distressed him.
And I can see that you don't take this lightly. You are troubled about this.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I stay up late. Sometimes, I'm stressing, really. Like even growing gray hairs. I'm only 30 years old.
The baby mama gave the relationship recap. It was revealed they met at the strip club and started dating each other, as they both had goo-goo eyes for each other. But when the baby came into their picture, all romance got watered down like this.
The relationship started, we met each other at the strip club. We was there for a family member's birthday party. And
okay.
It was just love at first sight,
Whereas the potential daddy accused the baby mama of cheating on him. He alleged that he had caught her texting multiple other dudes. But baby mama wiped it all off by asserting that she had no man in her life other than Mr. David.
She was definitely talking to other people at the time.
I was talking.
When you say talking, what does that mean? Does that mean?
That could be sex also.
No.
But we're just not together.
Well, that's not talking then.
No, Your Honor, no.
Oh, next, the guy explained the incident when he confronted the woman at the podium. He stated that when he went to pick her up, he hit her ex. Now you can't blame the daddy for his doubts, girl.
Oh, you mean she's laying in the bed expecting him to come?
When she seen it was me, she was laying in the bed, she was like this. I'm asleep.
No.
Really.
Mr. Wilkes' accusations seemed a little off, but to prove his claims, he brought concrete evidence, which was a video of her dancing with some guys. I guess mommy is in big trouble.
Yeah.
No, but Your Honor, before that video even happened, he sent me a picture.
Oh, is that a hand?
No, that was not me. He didn't touch me. No.
While the evidence was a shock bomb to everyone, the baby mama claimed that the defendant had deceived her. She told me that he sent her a picture of him with some other woman, but man did not let mommy turn the point by saying, "We are not in the divorce court."
Even play a role.
But he so-called loved me, but before that even took place, he sent me a picture of him and another girl talking about this is white.
This isn't couples court. We're here for a paternity test.
Right, but you love me also.
Yeah.
I guess the baby mama needed to take notes from Mr. Wilkes on how to come prepared in the court. Further, the man brought a witness who recreated the whole cheating dance. Whoop! That little scene made even Jerome dance like this.
You were there that night at this club?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you remember seeing?
No, he was not.
I remember seeing her, the guy, another girl, and another fella.
No.
And they was in there dancing. So I'm in the club, I'm standing back, I'm looking. All you see is him all on her. They grinding.
He is lying.
They grinding.
He is lying.
They grinding like.
As the trial moved forward, Ms. Eubanks stated that pregnancy news changed the potential father's mind, and he took her back and even tried to step up for the coming baby. But the defendant denied all of this, saying that the plaintiff was just making stuff up.
I don't know who you dealing with. You doing a lot
I was just dealing with you. I was having just relations with you. I didn't have
relations with me, but on this video camera, it looks like a lot of relations.
How did that look like relations?
How? Can you?
I didn't have relations with nobody else but you.
All right.
Further it got, the alleged father and baby mama had intoxicated the situation instead of resolving the friction. But it was evident that both needed DNA results badly for their baby and their relationship. So let's get those results.
3-month-old Mozzie. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wilk, you are the father.
Can I give her a hug?
Absolutely, if she's okay.
Past caught up to Mr. Norris Sr. when his wife and son chose to look up to him after decades. So, Mrs. Norris dragged her husband to the court to prove that he fathered her son, whom he had been denying for 22 years. Let's find out whom the DNA will prove wrong.
Mrs. Norris, you claim Johnny B. Norris Sr. has been denying he fathered your son for the past 22 years. You say today's paternity results will prove him wrong.
Yes, Your Honor.
At the beginning of the trial, it was revealed that first, he acknowledged the paternity, but something changed his mind. Their story did start on a good note, as they once were in love and had a shotgun wedding.
In our front yard, we had a yard wedding, Your Honor.
That was a shotgun wedding, Your Honor. When she became pregnant, I myself, I thought it'd be the right thing to do as far as marrying her.
So, the defendant disclosed the reasons behind his doubts. He claimed that Norris Jr.'s granny told him that he was not the father of the baby. Further, he pleaded that the plaintiff was messing around with her ex when she conceived the baby.
Why does he deny your son?
That I don't know, Your Honor.
His grandmother said that I wasn't his father. She'd go out from time to time for a couple of days consecutive and...
Okay. So the alleged daddy stated that he was tired of his wife and that he wanted to go far away from her. So when he left, he had no intentions of coming back to them. Just a quick question, sir. Why make the alleged son pay for it?
Your Honor, when I left, I had no intentions of coming back. So that's not true because I was done. I moved to Seattle. When I left Florida, I moved to Seattle. I wanted to get way away from it. So I moved to Seattle.
I'm reiterating.
And he wasn't the reason why I left. It was the mom. Because her and I wasn't getting along, and there was no love there. Why?
However, the plaintiff wiped all the claims and testified that her mother was angry at Mr. Norris because he wasn't treating her the way she deserved. And he was the deceiver, so this is why she blurted that he was not the father out of her rage.
Why would she say something like that?
She was angry with him because the way he was treating me.
You just said, I believe it. She said it.
Why would I look for you? You left.
Up next, the woman claimed that she started her search mission after moving to Georgia. She hit him up online, and they spoke on the phone and exchanged numbers, but Daddy acted like he had amnesia.
I had moved to Georgia with a friend, and she helped me to go online, and we were able to find a family member of Mr. Norris. I gave them a number to contact me. And he did.
Further, it slipped out that Mommy talked to the second wife of her husband, and she assisted her throughout. And Norris said that both women had a conversation on Facebook. Uh-oh, I think he meant Facebook.
Me and Beverly, we actually communicate.
That's so ironic.
You know, and we get along.
Women tend to take sides with one another anyway. They get on Facebook.
No, I don't go on Facebook.
Now it was the time to hear from Ms. Beverly. She claimed that she heard rumors for years that her husband fathered a son, and it got confirmed when she contacted the defendant's first wife on the Spacebook. Whoosh. I think I will sign up on this social media ASAP.
How did you find out that your husband might have a son?
I heard rumors through the years. I got on Facebook and I contacted his son and got Mrs. Norris's number and talked to her on the phone.
It was apparent that Norris Sr. neglected his potential child and baby mama, but he did not stop blaming the plaintiff for his mistakes. Further, he asserted that Mrs. Norris had ruined his marriage life by getting a Spacebook. Somebody, please tell me what a Spacebook is.
It's her husband first and mine second, and
no, it's
that
yours.
couldn't be.
She found my son on Facebook, sent her number inbox to him.
Well, not hard to find. All she's got to do is type in her husband's name.
Thank you. Thank you.
Even though Judge Lauren heard a lot of their testimony, their never-ending disagreements and arguments were making things more complicated. Things were all over and not getting to the point of resolution, so the only way was to get those results.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Norris Sr., you are not his father.
Ms. Sander admitted to testing another man for the baby's paternity, but when it came negative, she aimed her arrows at her ex. However, Mr. Brady neglected the claims and asked baby mama to point her finger at the baby's real daddy.
Ms. Sanders, you admit to having another man sign your 6-month-old son Caleb's birth certificate, but now say that Caleb's real biological father is the defendant, Mr. Jamarvis Brady.
Yes, Your Honor.
The trial started with the plaintiff stating that she had done everything alone for the baby and that the potential dad was a deadbeat. However, the baby daddy stated he felt no obligation to the child who wasn't his.
So, Ms. Sanders, what has Mr. Brady done exactly for baby Caleb since his birth?
He has not done anything, Your Honor.
Does he visit the baby?
I came through the neighborhood one day,
the reason why
and he asked me if he could see my baby.
Why would I take care of a baby that's not mine? Why would I visit a baby that's not mine?
Look how pretty my baby is. How can you deny a pretty baby. Why
I
would you
take
wait
care
this
of my
long?
responsibility, not another man's.
The defendant presented a compelling argument to the court and said that the green eyes of the baby had pulled doubts into him. And to support his claims, he put forward the history of his family's eye color like this.
My grandma don't have green eyes. My granddaddy don't got green eyes. My mama or my daddy. Her either, obviously. Me, I definitely don't have green eyes. I'm trying to figure out where these green eyes come from that's on this baby.
Mr. Brady further stated his doubts flared up when baby mama did not let him assist through the pregnancy as she was stubborn as a mule. However, the plaintiff refuted his claims and stated that when her ex came back into the picture, the defendant decided not to sue mommy.
When she told you she was pregnant, why didn't you go to an appointment?
I tried.
Participate.
I initially tried to go to the appointments, Your Honor. Catherine's just a handful.
He was playing me from the left because I didn't want to be with him no more. So he got mad because I got back with my ex. The beginning I did, but he's so nonchalant about everything. It's not even a point to even talk to him.
As the trial proceeded, it was revealed that Ms. Sander was all alone throughout the pregnancy because her man to choose shoes over his girlfriend and baby. And this is why she let her ex sign the birth certificate.
But
You still gonna give me them shoes?
My baby, why would she
He
let
asked
another
about some
man sign the
shoes.
birth
He wanted
certificate?
you to get him some
shoes?
shoes?
Just me and him, we talked about getting some shoes. So he never had a job or anything. So why would I put a baby on someone who couldn't even help me take care of the baby?
But he says you had another man sign the birth certificate.
Yes, my ex-boyfriend, before me and Jamarvis got together, I was with someone.
Further, it was revealed that she tested another man and it knocked him out of this paternity run. But the alleged father's doubts were also real, as there was another on the baby's birth certificate. So she better not blame the defendant for his doubts. To understand this mess, Judge Lake summoned the witness to the podium. She testified that the defendant was a deadbeat dad, and mother was sure he was the only potential father left in the picture as the other man had dropped out. But the daddy stood persistent on his allegations.
I believe my daughter. I don't know Mr. Brady. This is my first time ever seeing her.
So you just said all she is my potential child's mother. So there is a potential.
Even if you think that he may be your son, won't you feel like a fool if he's your son and you've never contributed 1 red cent towards taking care of?
Nonetheless, Ms. Sanders claimed that Mr. Brady had humiliated her by denying his son in front of her acquaintances. Oh my, boy, who on earth does this? Why would you embarrass someone like that, especially when there is a baby involved in the situation?
You say he embarrassed you in front of everyone.
Yes, one day I'm walking through the neighborhood, he asked, he was like, he just called my name out the blue. Lord, please.
So he did this out in public in front of people?
In front of everybody, calling his friends over like he
Somebody
just
got
farted
to know
in the
besides me,
neighborhood.
this ain't my baby, and I want somebody to tell me that this ain't my baby because of the same
And that's
reason
why
I'm
we're here
saying it
today,
ain't my
and
baby.
that is the reason why we're here today.
They were not on the same page, and their back and forth arguments were not helping Judge Lake to figure out the solution to this paternity mess. So the ultimate way to settle this conflict was to declare the results they needed.
Mr. Brady, you are not.
I told her that wasn't my baby, Your Honor.
Sit down.
I told her.
Sit down over there.
I knew it wasn't mine. 100% positive.
Miss Sanders, he said he was positive.
So who the
I don't
other
understand.
possibilities?
I really don't understand.
A repellent couple arrived in the court to determine the paternity of their baby girl. Mrs. Matson claimed that her husband has a track record of leaving children in the lurch, and now he's doing the same with her daughter. Meanwhile, Mr. Matson pleaded that his wife was licentious, and today's DNA results will put an end to the ongoing drama.
Your husband, Mr. Matson, that your 6-month-old daughter is his biological child. Now, Mr. Matson, you claim Mrs. Matson has been having affairs with other men throughout your marriage.
Their relationship started on the wedding night of the defendant. Even though he was married to another woman, he asked the plaintiff if she wanted to be her next ex-wife. Was that flattering, miss? Nah, surely it wasn't.
What was the first thing I said to you?
You asked me if I
Would like to be my next ex-wife.
Yep.
Is that what you said, Mr. Matson?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
And then what happened from there?
Ups and downs?
2 years after that, we got married. But when he married me, he was still married to her.
While the baby mama was persistent in her assertions, the alleged daddy said that he could not have kids as he had congestive heart failure, which made him sterile. That is why his wife's pregnancy news filled in the doubts.
I have congestive heart failure. I had my first heart attack in 1997. I've had many, many operations from then until now. Chances of me having kids are done.
You have been told that you cannot have children, you're sterile.
Yes.
No,
so when she comes up pregnant,
I'm like, who the hell is it?
It was revealed that pregnancy news stunned the potential father. Mrs. Matson further claimed that the defendant was a con artist, and she had caught him red-handed multiple times, but nothing could cease Mr. Matson's clowning.
6 months in.
Yes.
And what was your reaction to that statement?
He's a con artist. He has done nothing. He says he wants to practice making a baby, but he sure wasn't practicing with me. He was out practicing with everyone else that walked.
Even though he admitted to the charges, he was not ashamed of the item and stated that if her wife could not make him happy, he would have to go out somewhere else. So Judge Lake hopped into the marriage situation like this.
When you start going out with a man on his wedding day and decide you're gonna date a man that's married, then you marry a man that's already married. You shouldn't be surprised if this married man is cheating on you in your marriage.
Further, Mrs. Matson's deceiving slipped out, but it was not breaking news for the potential dad. Baby mama told that she was sick of him, which drove her to seek solace in another man's arms. Despite this deteriorating situation, Mr. Matson aggravated the mess like this.
And I have to ask you, have you ever cheated on him?
One time, yes, I did, because the owner of the company that we was working for died. His wife was taking her husband's death very hard. Go out and find someone.
Let's back up
Did
here.
that lead to
Your
you
Honor.
cheating with someone else?
I like
Because
younger
I had
women.
been done with him. I was done. I was trying to leave him.
Finally, Judge Lake summoned the witness. Ms. Lopez came in while shouting to her vocal cords. Mrs. Matson was a compulsive liar. That seemed like a red flag. Hope so they won't cut each other's throats.
Excuse me, everything that comes out of her mouth is a liar. It's a straight lie. Everything out of her mouth, Your Honor, is a lie.
Okay, Ms.
Really?
Lopez.
When
Yes,
have I ever
what have-
lied to you? When
what have you ever
met
lied?
you? The first time I met you was at a funeral and you attacked me.
Let's get some order.
So the witness made some allegations and declared the mommy snake and a sore cheater, which burst out the wrangle between them. Yeah, somebody, please tell them yelling at their vocal cords won't help anyone solve this toxic jumble.
Why is it you feel this
From
way
day-
about Ms. Matson?
From day one. My brother's married, and she can't handle the fact that I'm still friends with his ex-wife. Excuse me, but we're
I don't
still
give
friends.
a care about-
You
I
don't
do not care
That's
about
right.
that.
She
I
called
don't
my
care
mom's
about
house.
that.
It was apparent that both parties were at odds, and the more they were testifying, the more they were intensifying the paternity situation, so Judge Lake had to dismiss them. Yeah, we all love them, she thrashed.
If you felt you were sterile and couldn't have children and your wife comes up pregnant, you may always have in the back of your mind, as you say you do, is this or is this not my child? Could make you feel insecure about what she's out doing.
Exactly, Your Honor.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have thought that I'm doing that or doesn't accuse me of it until he's done it.
They have enough problems communicating as it is. Insert your mouth, hot mess. Throw you out this courtroom if
where
you
his wedding
curse
ring is.
one more
Ask
time.
my husband where his wedding ring is. It's right here in my arm, my hand. That's his wedding ring. He hasn't worn it in 3 weeks.
However, it was the case of a cheater cheating on a cheater. Yet this nasty couple was not ready to drop their allegations, and their testimony was not helping but flaring up the whole situation. So the last hope to get closure was to get those results.
In the case of Matson versus Matson pertaining to 6-month-old Sandy Matz. Mr. Matson, you are the father.
Told you.
got a
Now you
miracle
can
child.
apologize to me because I'm not the guy. You are. You're nothing but a.
You need to keep your language down.
A treacherous wife dragged her husband to prove the paternity of her daughter. However, Mr. McDowell asserted that his ex-wife was Trollope, which made him stand out of fathering chase, and the DNA results will end this for good.
Ms. McDowell, you say you have no doubt that your 1-month-old daughter, Annabelle, is your husband's biological child because you claim you only had sex with Mr. McDowell during the window of conception.
Yes, Your Honor.
So the defendant said that the whole family had been defaced due to baby mama's swindling. McDowell's infidelity ripped her apart from her children. Oh, ma'am, were those skirt chasers worth ruining your family?
She just one day told me she was going to go to her friend, a female friend's house and spend a few hours. Well, the next day, the female friend she went to go spend the night with called me and said she walked into the home and caught her, Miss McDowell, and her boyfriend on the couch cuddling.
Yes, I admit, I did sleep in the same bed with the dude. No, we were not cuddling, and no,
But we
did
are
not.
married. You don't sleep in a bed with another dude during a marriage.
However, the mommy stated that her husband was the flagrant man who asked her to sleep with another man in front of him when she was intoxicated, and this gave her the red flag.
Me, him, and the friend that I went and stayed the night with was drinking that night. We went to the store, and on our way back, he's gonna tell me that I could sleep with this dude in front of him. And I told him, I said, no, I'm your wife, and that's not right.
Did you suggest that, Mr. McDowell?
I do not recall that. No, Your Honor, I do not.
Oh, so suddenly the red flag turned green and led Mrs. McDowell to another man's bed, and the potential revealed that baby daddy had numerous guys in the picture. However, folks, you know, what's more? Needed to ride on this paternity mess? Absolutely nothing.
Well, I went out to my friend's house. Dude was my friend and the chick was my friend. I did not know she was planning on leaving that night. It's the whole reason I ended up asking to stay the night.
But you ended up in the bed with this guy.
Yes, Your Honor.
You end up pregnant, and you tell your husband?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what was his response?
It's not mine.
It's not mine.
Even though the plaintiff admitted the claims of deceiving, she did her best to prove herself innocent. So, up next, she brought the calendar of conception to support her claims, and allegedly explained that Mr. McDowell had impregnated her like this.
We had sex on the 27th, and also I had sex with Mr. Alfred on the 9th and the 10th of November.
This first page of evidence is a calendar
where it shows the week of me conceiving my child.
May I see that, Jerome?
Further, the man explained the incident of overhearing. He explained the wicked conversation of baby mama, mocking that she already knew about him not fathering her baby, but gaining financial benefit was the motive behind this all.
May I say one more thing? We had a court scheduled in our town. I was walking down the hallway. I was running late for court. She did not know where I was coming. I tucked in behind the corner to where no one could see me, and I overheard her telling somebody and laughing that she knew the child wasn't mine and that she was.
So it was time to hear from the witness. Ms. Combs alleged that baby mama duped her into a paternity mess, which is why she took her in, supported her, and gave her boyfriend money to work, yet the deceiving did not stop.
If you didn't believe the child was your grandchild, why did you take her in?
Because she told me from day one that it was his, like she's saying now.
You knew it was her boyfriend, or you found out later?
No, I knew it was her boyfriend. I tried to work it to where they could get back together, because my thought, even though she's a whore, that her...
Ma'am, you have to use respectful language.
I'm sorry.
Do not use that language.
Miss McDowell confessed that she dumped her husband for her lover, Mr. Alfred, but it turned out that she had been intimate with both men in the window of conception. So you know, guys, when things like this happen, you roll up in the paternity court.
November the 9th, I sat there and messaged him on Facebook, seeing if I can come over and chill with him and hang out. And then, yes, we ended up having sex that night.
While you're married?
Yes, Your Honor. And we had sex that day, too.
And now you're boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yes.
Finally, the second potential came in. He claimed that he did not believe either one of them was the father, but instead, there should be another man who could be the biological daddy in this paternity contest. Oh my, the lady is straight up scandalous.
Mr. Alfred, I have to ask you, do you believe your baby Annabelle's biological father?
Personally, I don't believe me or Michael, either one or the father. I think it might be the gentleman that she was with before she tried to work things out with Michael.
What's interesting here is you say the baby's your husband says the baby's your lover, and your lover says the baby's by another.
As the trial proceeded, it turned out that Ms. McDowell was hopping between 4 men simultaneously, and Mr. Alfred caught her messaging another man about the child. Regardless of his doubts, he signed the birth certificate.
How many men were you sleeping with?
4 dudes all together. That's including Mr. Alfred and McDowell.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And so you just said, that sounds good to me, I'm signing up.
It was evident that baby mama was debauched and her promiscuity disrupted multiple lives, and she could not blame the defendants for their doubts. So the last hope to get closure for the baby was to reveal the results.
Mr. Alfred, you are her father.
Thank God.
How does it feel, Mr. Alfred?
I mean, it feels great. It feels amazing. My mother was right the whole time. I just, like I said, given so many different people that she had been with within the timelines, is the reason why I had doubts.